I feel as though I would like to preface class by letting you know I have four tiny guests in my house, two of which are human, my children, two of which are feline, the cats that I am watching. So we might have some visitors with our practice today, and that's okay. So welcome to yoga class. My name is Caitlin. If you haven't practiced with me before, welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me. And we will go ahead and get started with our 45-minute practice today by coming into a comfortable seated position, sitting up nice and tall as we start our practice with a little meditation. If sitting cross-legged is not comfortable for you today, feel free to sit up on the knees. Maybe you come to lie down on the back in a supine position, knees up to the sky. Maybe you would like to come into some sort of surrender pose, maybe folding forward. And no matter what position you've chosen, let's all start to tap into our breathing, bringing in air through the nose, sending it down into the belly. Releasing, we draw the belly button back towards the spine, letting the diaphragm lift. Remember, when the diaphragm lifts and presses up on the heart space, it's lowering blood pressure. The longer that it stays in that position, the deeper our relaxation goes. So long, slow exhales equal deeper relaxation. If you've started your meditation in one position but are finding it's no longer supporting you, go ahead and make some moves if you need to, but only if you need to. We want to find a position that best supports the breath. If the eyes are not already closed, let's go ahead and close them or soften the gaze even further as we start to turn inward, becoming mindful of the physical body. Starting with the breath, noticing the breath's coming easy and natural today. Or if it's something that you are needing to work a little harder at. There's no right or wrong answer, simply observations. And then move to a body scan. Maybe you're feeling certain sensations that are calling out to you immediately. Or maybe you take a more organized fashion, starting at the feet or the head and working in the opposite direction. Making note of areas that feel not their best, but also areas that feel really good, areas that surprise you. For these last several breaths, let's see if we can sit up a little taller. So if you're in a cross-legged position, we bring an awareness to the sits bones, the hip bones that are rooted down into the earth. And we bring the pelvis forward slightly, lifting up and out of the hips, letting the spine grow nice and tall. Maybe we pinch the shoulder blades together while allowing the shoulders to relax. Lifting in the chest, growing tall through the back of the neck. Take 3 more breath cycles here. Growing tall as we send the breath down the spine, into the pelvis, into the floor on the inhale. And growing light and airy, soft on the exhale. 2 more like that. Big inhale. Exhale, we lift, growing soft and light. Making our exhale longer than our inhale. Last one, here we go. Big inhale. And a long, slow exhale. Your next inhale will gently open the eyes, swinging the arms out wide at the sides to come up overhead, palms kiss together. Maybe you look up at your sweet hands so you see the fingertips kiss. And on your next exhale, we start to shift the belly button towards the top of the left thigh. Right hand drops to the left knee. Left hand falls behind us in space as we find a nice, easy seated twist. We rotate the elbow crease of the left arm away from the body, encouraging this opening in the shoulder, the pectoral muscles, the chest, and encouraging this length in the spine, sitting up nice and tall. Maybe you're able to melt a little deeper into your twist on the exhale. But we are just warming up the body, so it's okay. Your range of motion feels a little limited. One more big inhale. Exhale, we gently float back through the midline to inhale, both arms wide up and overhead. Fingertips kiss gently together. Exhale, let's watch our left hand drop to the right knee as we shift the belly button towards the top of the right thigh. Right hand drops behind us in space. We sit up nice and tall, so we're light on the fingertips in the right hand. Elbow crease rotates away from the body. You need a little extra movement on this side. Maybe we drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. We sit up nice and tall. Exhale gently, we unravel back to center. Excuse me. Left hand drops right next to the outside of the left thigh. So kissing to the mat. We stay light as on the fingertips. Excuse me, you guys. And we start to walk the fingertips out away from the body until it feels comfortable and right to drop the forearm down to the mat. You'll know when you find that sweet spot. Right hip is going to want to try to come up, so we keep it rooted down to the mat. And we take the right hand right behind the right ear as we start to move it out towards the left side of the mat, coming parallel to the left forearm. Bicep is right by the ear. Neck is long and strong as we press into the left elbow, lifting out of the left shoulder. Maybe you wrap that right shoulder blade around, wrapping and opening the right armpit, allowing you to look up at the ceiling. One more inhale. On the exhale, we're going to float right arm out in front of us. Belly button then comes over the left thigh as we drape through center to sit up nice and tall. We take it to the other side. We start to crawl the right fingers out to the outside of the right hip before dropping the forearm down to the mat, palms face down. Left hand comes right behind the ear as we start to bring the bicep by the ear. Left hand, left forearm is parallel to the right. So bicep is right by the ear, chest is wide open forward. We're pressing into the right elbow to lift out of the right shoulder joint. And then maybe we wrap that left shoulder blade around closer to the spine, rotating and opening the armpits up towards the ceiling, allowing our gaze to turn upward. One more breath here. Exhale. We start to glide the left hand palm face down through center until belly button's right over the pelvis and we sit up nice and tall. Excellent. Arms come with us up overhead on the inhale, biceps by the ears. And exhale, we flip palms forward as we start to paint the space in front of us. Belly again drapes right over that triangle in between the legs and the pelvis if we're seated cross-legged. Bending at the hips, both hips stay in connection with the earth. We flex the toes to help keep our balance, dropping the hands, palms down to the mat, down to the earth. We inhale and then maybe we start to drop the forearms and forehead towards the earth. If you feel like you can't keep the connection in your hips with the mat, go ahead and walk the hands back towards the head a little bit, shortening up your stance, meeting your body where it's at today. We're here for 2 more breath cycles. Last one.
Exhale, we activate the midline, drawing belly button back towards the spine. We bring activity back in the neck, gaze comes straight down, and we use the heels of the palms to walk us back up to a seated position. You can either swim right through center to come into our tabletop, or we swing both legs off to the side as we start to warm up the hips, further warm up the spine. So coming into tabletop, wrists are right underneath the shoulders, knees are right underneath the hips. The tops of the feet are either flush with the mat or we curl the toes under. We're pressing away from the yoga mat. Elbow creases are shining towards each other or towards the front of the mat. Belly button's pulled back towards the spine. Gaze is straight down. Let's take a moment here to feel our alignment. Make sure that it feels good in our body, making adjustments as needed. Maybe take some breaths here, just in stillness. And we start to move. Let's first bump the hips over to the left. Gaze comes over to the right as we sink the hips down onto the left heel. Inhale. Exhale, we swing through center before swinging the hips over to the right. Gaze comes out past the left shoulder as we sink the hips onto the right heel. Exhale draws you through center as we take it again to the other side. Exhale through center, bump the hips over to the right. Exhale through center, take a few more rounds on your own, maybe incorporating the neck, making some figure 8 shapes here. Or if it feels good to do full hip rotations, you can do that as well. Pausing anywhere that feels like it needs a little extra attention. One more breath cycle here. And we'll meet back in our tabletop to drop the belly on the inhale, gaze comes forward. Exhale, we round through. Coming into our cat. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. Gaze is forward, we press away from the yoga mat here. Exhale, we round through. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. Exhale, we round through. Last round, inhale, drop the belly, open the chest, and we pause for 2 breath cycles. So pressing away from the yoga mat. We're drawing the shoulder blades together, really opening the chest, pressing into the top of the feet. Exhale. Your next exhale, we tuck the tail, drawing it towards the belly button, up to the midline, dropping the crown. We stay here for 2 breath cycles in cat. Inhale brings us back to tabletop. Big toes come together. We take the knees as wide as the yoga mat or as wide as is comfortable. As we sink the hips back onto the heels, maybe pausing for a slight sway. Before allowing the belly, chest, and forehead to descend to the mat. Arms reach out long, or maybe take the elbows as wide as the yoga mat and stack hand on top of hand in front of the crown. Maybe you do walk both hands out, but then bring the palms together, bend at the elbows, and let the palms drop behind the nape of the neck. Maybe none of this is comfortable and you come into a traditional balasana, knees together, arches together, hands towards the back of the mat. Take one more inhale. On the exhale, let's keep hips nice and low as we walk both arms off the left side of the mat. Option to bring the right hand on top of the left. Big inhale, exhale. We stay nice and low as we walk both hands over to the right. One more inhale. Exhale, we bring ourselves back through center, and using our next breath, we press into the tops of the feet, drawing the knees back underneath the hips, wrists back underneath the shoulders. We transfer the weight of the legs into the right leg, so pressing down firmly through the right foot. We send the left leg out long, coming up onto the toes. We again drop the belly, bringing the belly button in line with the hips. Gaze is straight down. We inhale, swing the left arm up towards the ceiling. One more breath here, and on the exhale, we pivot on the back foot, drawing the toes out towards the left side of the mat, and we reach the arms towards the front of the mat, extending out through the crown. Pressing away from the yoga mat in the right hand. Pressing down firmly through our foundation, that which is touching the earth, i.e. both of our feet. One more breath. Exhale, we pivot the toes back to the midline, hand drops down in space. We pull the left knee in to meet the right, sending the right foot out to take it to the other side. Inhale, maybe give a little bounce on the hamstring if it's feeling tight already. We inhale, right arm swings out to the side, up towards the ceiling. As we find our footing, exhale, we pivot the back foot, right arm reaches out towards the front of the mat. We're actively drawing the pelvis back in line with the hips. We're stabilizing in our foundation, so we're keeping our joints safe. One more inhale. Exhale, we start to pivot on the back foot, dropping the right hand down to meet the left. Right knee draws in to meet the left knee. We walk the hands out slightly in space, curl the toes under for the inhale, and exhale, you know where we're going. Hips are going up high for our first downward facing dog. When we get there, take some time to listen and explore your body. You might need to shake the hips from side to side. Maybe you need to walk the dog Straightening one leg, bending the other. Maybe taking a deep look underneath the armpit as you do. Maybe you need a moment of stillness, but you need to do it with your knees bent. That's okay. We check our alignment. We're pressing away from the yoga mat and the hands, elbow creases are shining towards each other, towards the front of the mat. Belly button is drawn back towards the spine. Belly drops towards the tops of the thighs. Ribs are soft and tucked up to the diaphragm. Let's stay for one more breath. Exhale, steps us up, feet to meet the hands as we meet in a forward fold. Maybe clasp opposite elbow, gently swaying side to side. Keeping it kind of gentle today. Listening to our bodies. After you've taken some gentle sways, we'll find a moment of stillness here. Either leg straight, or you can keep a deep bend in the knee as you drop the belly to the tops of the thighs. We're going to stay in this inversion for just a few more breaths. Continuing to take big inhales in through the nose, feeling the skin of the low back expand as we do so. Feeling the pressure in the spine, cervical spine. Release as we shine the crown down to the earth. One more inhale. Exhale, slowly, root to rise. We start to roll our way up to mountain, active through the midline. Arms come with us, up overhead, palms kiss together, descending at the heart space. Arms go down and come up. On the exhale, we flip the palms, letting them float behind the tail, interlacing the fingers, looping the shoulders forward, and then drawing the shoulders back, pinching the shoulder blades, fingers reach down in space. Maybe we open the chest, gaze reaches forward, slight back bend. Inhale. Exhale, buoyancy in the knees as we start to bend from the hips. Folding forward, chest is wide open. We're reaching the fingers away from the body. One more big inhale. Exhale, we gently release the fingers, arms float down until the hands kiss the feet before running up the front of the thighs, rolling our way back up to mountain. Arms come with us up overhead, palms kiss together, descend at the heart space. Arms go down to come up on the inhale. Palms flip externally as the hands float behind us in space, interlacing again, but opposite thumb on top this time. We leap the shoulders, drawing the fingers down away from the body, down towards the mat. Chest becomes open. Shoulder blades pinched together. We open the throat, lifting the chin up towards the ceiling. Big inhale, exhale, buoyancy in the knees as we start to draw the belly button towards the tops of the thighs, bending at the hips. Chest is open as we dive into our forward fold. Fingers are reaching away from the body actively. When we're there for one breath. Next exhale, gently we release the fingers, letting them float slowly down to kiss the feet before rolling up to mountain. Arms come with us up overhead, palms kiss together and descend. Heart space. Arms go down to come up. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, lifts us halfway, figure 7 shape, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, we fold. Fingertips come down to the mat as we step just the left foot back. We find ourselves in lunge. We're here for several breaths. We're either light on the fingertips, maybe we're up on the fists. If you have blocks and you want to build the earth up to you, that's fine. Or maybe we practice lifting fingertips off the mat. We're strong in that front foot. Your next exhale will drop the hands if they're not already. We're going to heel toe the right foot out slightly in space so that the heel sits just a little bit wider than the hips. We draw both hands underneath the shoulder, so on the inside of the right foot. Inhale. And on the exhale, we're swinging the right arm externally out to our sides, pivoting on the back foot so that we come onto the outer edge of the foot, reaching the right arm up to the ceiling. We're lifting from the hips, active in the center, pressing down through that right foot. Knee stays in line with the ankle, stays in line with the hip. Exhale, we pivot on the back foot, drawing the hand back towards, back down to meet the left. And we find ourselves in the lizard variation. We inhale, and on the exhale, we walk the foot back in line with the hips before drawing it back to meet the left, and we send the hips up high, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts up high, 3-legged dog. We drop heel to hip as we open the pelvis over to the left, drawing the left toes over actively towards the right side of the mat. We're distributing weight equally between both hands. One more inhale. Exhale, we release left foot back down, downward facing dog. We're here for one breath. Exhale, we step ourselves back up, feet to meet the hands before rolling our way up to mountain. Arms up overhead, palms kiss together. Descending at the heart space. Arms go down to come up. Exhale, we fold. Inhale lifts us up halfway. Exhale, fold, fingertips come down to the mat. This time we step just the right foot back. We find ourselves in our lunge. We're light on the fingertips, or we have fists down on the ground, or if we want to bring the earth up to us with some blocks or props, that's great. Or maybe we use our power in the front foot to lift the fingertips off the mat. Either way, belly is right by the thigh, chest is open, shoulder blades are pinching together. If you want to drop that back knee, you can always do that as well, making modifications for where your body's at today. Your next exhale, we'll use it to transition into our lizard variation. Heel toe, the foot's just wider than the hip, so toes are spilling off the long side of the mat. Heel is pointed towards the midline. We drop both palms down to the mat in front, on the inside of the left arch. Gazes out past the front of the mat just slightly, keeping length in the neck. We draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Big inhale. Exhale, we swing the left arm out externally at our sides and then rotating it up to the ceiling, pivoting on the back foot. So we're on the outside of the back foot, or soul kisses down to the mat. We lift from the hips, active in that front foot, knees over the ankle in line with the hip. One more breath. Exhale, we float, pivoting back down to our lizard before heel toeing the foot back in line to our lunge, drawing the left foot back to meet the right, hips up high, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg kicks up high, three-legged dog. We drop heel to hip, opening the pelvis over towards the right, actively drawing the right toes towards the left side of the mat. Equal weights in both hands, pressing away from the yoga mat, arms stay nice and long. One more breath. Exhale, we gently float the right foot back down to meet the left. Taking 2 breaths here in downward facing dog. One more inhale. Exhale, we come up onto the toes before dropping the knees. Let's flip the feet. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. We come into cow. Exhale, round through for cat. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, round through. Really pressing away from the yoga mat. And then inhale, we come back to neutral spine before floating all the way down onto the belly. Arms are right in front of the shoulders. We flip the feet, pressing into the yoga mat. Knees are engaged. Gaze is straight down. Elbows stay tight to the side body as we draw the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale. Exhale, we press into the yoga mat, drawing the chest, torso, bottom of the abdomen, up off the mat. Gaze comes forward for cobra. We lift in the chest. Take pressure out of the low back. Exhale, we fold. Gently, belly, then chest, then forehead. Inhale. And on the exhale, opposite direction, forehead, then chest. Belly, chin stays tucked until we rise. Gaze is the last thing to come forward. Exhale, we float. Belly, chest, forehead. Inhale, exhale, last one. Exhale, we float. Inhale, we curl the toes under. Exhale, we power into the fingertips, the heels of the palms, pressing our way up and then back, prayer position, forehead kisses down to the mat, hips drop to the heels. Exhale, we rock back forward to tabletop position. We're going to come onto our bums, either crossing the ankles and rolling back through, or maybe you swing legs off to the side. When you get there, we're gently going to roll onto our supine position. When you get there, we'll draw knees up towards the chest, interlacing the fingers around the shins. We actively drop chin to the chest, keeping length in the back of the neck. Shoulder blades snuggle right underneath the heart space, opening the front of the chest, the hearts. Belly grows nice and heavy. Ribs are soft. One more inhale. Exhale. We keep the right leg where it's at as we send the left leg out long, keeping the heel hovered above the mat in the left leg. We exhale, draw the right knee towards the right shoulder. Belly is nice and heavy. Big inhale, and on the exhale, we drop the left heel, drawing the right knee towards the right shoulder. Exhale, left hand helps the right knee across the midline over to the left side of the mat. Right arm comes out long, half T at our side. One more breath. Exhale, we pull belly button back towards the spine, stabling us as we draw the knee back through the midline, dropping the heel for stability while we bring the left knee up to the chest, wrapping the fingers around the shin. Exhale, we send the right leg out long, keeping the heel hovered slightly above the mat, drawing the left knee towards the left shoulder. Slight compression in front of the hip. Noticing how this side feels different. Big inhale, and on your next exhale, we drop the heel, draw the left knee closer to the left shoulder. Feeling that expansive opening across the pelvis, opposite direction. Right hand to left knee as we guide the left leg through the midline over to the right side. Left arm comes out wide, half T at our side. We keep both shoulders pinned down to the ground. If that's not something that's happening in your body, will come out of the twist slightly. And we send the breath down deep to all the lower corners of the abdomen. Feeling the breath touch all the internal organs. Notice where you may be holding or gripping in the muscles around the joints. One more inhale. Exhale, belly button to spine, draws us back through the midline. We drop the left sole and then send it out long to meet the right. Hands come out wide at our sides. Let's take one more collective breath together. Big inhale. A long, slow, intentional exhale. Thank you for practicing with me today. Please take a moment to thank yourselves for showing up. If you're able to stay in Shavasana for a little while longer, I would definitely encourage you to do so. If you can't right now, but you think you might be able to later, that's great. Plug a reminder into your phone. If all that you can do for the rest of the day for yourself is make sure that you drink plenty of water, that's okay too. I hope you have a great rest of your day, whatever day in the future that it is. And I will see you next time.